Welcome to my video on how to prepare a coffee enema. You can see the blue pot I have on the stove. I put about 1 gallon of John Ellis water in there. You can also use distilled water, or if you don't have that, you could use spring water. But don't use tap water. There are too many pollutants in there that will go right into your bloodstream. You'll see it's about an inch from the top of the edge of the pot. You don't want it too high or it will boil over. What I'm going to do is put the water in, then put my coffee grounds in the pot and bring it to a boil, then turn it off. You could let it simmer on low heat for another 5 or 10 minutes, but usually I just turn it off when it starts to boil. Here's the coffee I'm using right now. I'm using S.A. Wilson's coffee, which I've been using for about 15 years. It's a gold roast, but I like to mix it up a little bit, so I usually add Cafe Mam from cafemam.com. You can get both on Amazon. With a Cafe Mam, I find it much cheaper to order from their website than buying it on Amazon. It's quite a bit cheaper. You can see the package here says Core Vital. This is just another brand of enema coffee. Every once in a while, I'll try different brands. So the bag is from that other brand, but when I buy Cafe Mam, I buy a 5-pound bag of the ground therapy roast coffee. Then fill the smaller bag to make it easier and keep the bigger bag fresh in the fridge. I put in 2 tablespoons of Cafe Mam and 3 tablespoons of S.A. Wilson's, heaping tablespoons. You can use less if you're just starting out. Sometimes I use a little less and make enough for a few days, but today I'm going to go with 2 cups in my enema bucket. You'll need to use a fine strainer to make sure you don't get the coffee grounds in your colon. It's not a big deal if there's a small amount, but strain the coffee as much as possible. Before I start the coffee enema, I'll do an enema with mostly water and maybe a small amount of coffee. This is just to get rid of any fecal matter or poop that might be in my colon. You want to do this every time you're going to do a coffee enema. Otherwise, the coffee will be absorbing into the fecal matter instead of your body. Next, I'm going to add some water to bring it up to the amount that I want to use today. You want to make sure that temperature is lukewarm. Okay, you can see I've got my bucket full and ready. I've been doing this for a long time, so I can take in quite a bit of coffee, and I usually massage it up into my transverse colon and try to reach more of my colon for cleaning, so I'll lay on my back and do that. You can start with half this amount, and some days I only do half this amount. If you find the temperature is not warm enough, just add a bit of boiling water to get it to the right temperature. You don't want it to be too cold or too hot. Now I'm going to take the end over to the sink and unlock the clamp so I can get rid of the air out of the line. There you go. You can see how some of the air came out of the line. It's important to get the air out of the line every time, otherwise it may prevent the coffee from flowing. You need to do this each time. This is my setup in my bedroom where I do the enemas. I have a yoga mat on the floor with a couple towels. I've got some paper towels for wiping the lube off my hands after I lubricate the nozzle and the part of my butt where I'm going to insert the nozzle. And I've got water-soluble lube. You can use coconut oil as well or whatever lube you prefer. Now, you can see I have my coffee hanging from the dresser about 2.5 feet off the ground. It's going to be using gravity to get the coffee flowing through the tube. And I've added a mirror so I can actually see how much coffee is left in the bucket. That way I can tell whether the bucket's half empty or, how much is left. Sometimes when I'm doing an enema, I might not take it all in. So I might want to see that there's half left and then I'll just stop and I'll do the other half afterwards. The other thing I do to make cleaning the toilet easier afterwards is I take a cleaning spray and I spray the inside of the toilet before I sit down to expel the coffee. I've got this thing about half full of organic dish soap and the other half full of water. So I just spray it down. It sort of puts a coating on the toilet bowl and makes it much easier to clean. I'm still going to use Comet or Ajax afterwards, but this helps a lot. Okay, so I'm going to do one more round. Since this will be my final round today, after I put a cup or 2 of coffee in the bucket and add water, I'm going to add some other things which you don't need to do, but I just thought I'd mention them here. Usually I'll put in some humic or fulvic minerals or ocean minerals from Baja Gold. I put some essential oils. Optimal Health Network sells a really nice coffee enema essential oil blend. And usually I put in some sea salt. Optimal Health Network also sells some really nice sea salt blends for revitalization or for assisting in removal of mucoid plaque. Also, while I'm talking about Optimal Health Network, they sell some really good quality nozzles. I bought this Delrin 1/2-inch diameter nozzle. It's super smooth. Sometimes the ones that come with the enema buckets can be a little bit rough to use, so if you plan on doing coffee enemas for a long time, it's worth it to buy a good nozzle. Optimal Health Network also has some great library articles on coffee enemas and related material. One thing to keep in mind is when you're doing a coffee enema, if you you insert the coffee, and as the coffee is going in, if you feel like it's got to come blasting out right away, like sometimes, in fact, quite often, people will put it in, and really after about a minute or two, they feel like they can't hold it. They've got to let it go. The thing is, if you just sort of tighten up your stomach and tighten up your butt and just concentrate, usually after about 10 or 20 seconds, that feeling will go away. Sometimes you'll hear like an air bubble in your stomach or something like that, and that feeling will go away. So just keep that in mind. I've been doing coffee enemas every day for about 15 years or every few days. And keep in mind, we're being bombarded with toxins and pollutants and even parasites pretty well every day. So it's good to keep your liver clean. Just as a note, the special coffee that we're using for coffee enemas is higher in palmitic acid. This is going to increase your glutathione S-transferase enzyme by 600% to 700%. Glutathione is your detox enzyme. Thanks for watching my coffee enema video. I hope it helps.